folks, I'm Joel Turner with Shot IQ, and we're getting a lot of questions about these grip sears, and so we're going to put a grip sear on this Stalker Coyote. And you know, a lot of people don't want to drill holes in their bow, and I totally understand that. So we've come up with a way just to put one on there quick and easy, using some basic materials, and it's pretty easy to do. And it works fantastic, and it's actually a fairly robust system. So here we go. So first thing I need you to do is I need the model. Whoever's gonna be shooting this bow, I need them to actually grip the bow and draw the bow back so that I get to see exactly where that finger placement is. Now that shooter, whoever's we're setting this grip sear up for, they got to figure out if they're going to use their middle finger, their ring finger, or which finger they're going to use as far as height on the grip goes for the sear system. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set the height for Tim's sear system. So Tim has decided that he's going to use his ring finger for this sear system. So I have him draw his bow back so that he's got his actual hand position. Go ahead and draw back to full draw. And so I'm seeing that his finger is hitting very near this lamination line on here. So that's where he's going to be with his grip sear. Go ahead and let down. So now, I mean, this bow worked out perfectly because it's got this mark right where we're going to put that. So I'm going to actually put it just down below, because what you're going to see is the angle that Tim's going to be working this sear is not straight, it's actually at an angle. So the center of the sear is going to be right in here, so that works out away, because the motion that he's going to be doing is not into the bow, it's at an angle. He's going to follow the natural angle of his finger back to the base of his fingers. That's where we're going to be with that sear system. So now we know where it needs to be. So now let's go about cutting some materials to put this on. So now I'm going to take just this regular adhesive backed leather. I'm going to get me a good piece that's going to wrap over both sides of the grip, you know, like an inch on either side of the grip. And I'm going to get my height, so I'm going to put that right dead center over where that was. And you know, you can take a pen, or you can make a mark with a nail or a sharper object. Just make sure that you don't go through the leather yet. I can simply probably use my nail for that. We're going to make a mark in that leather where that's at. The sear is going to come just outside of that and hang just over the edge of the riser. I'm going to make a cut where this is going to be cut at. I'm going to round these edges on this leather, just so we've got full purchase. We don't have corners that could ever lift on it. So we've got our mark here, so we're going to make a cut with our knife. But before you want to make this cut, let's cut the sear material. Now the sear material that we're going to use is just simply clear plastic packaging. So I mean, you can use Mylar if you have Mylar, but this clear plastic packaging seems to work pretty well. So what we're going to cut out of here, we're just going to cut a piece about, oh, it's probably about 1/2 inch wide. And then we'll also round this. We don't have our length set yet, so you can leave one of the ends squared off. And what you're looking for with this is, when I put this on, how wide do you want to make this? So you come all the way to the other edge of the riser with it, because this leather is going to be coming all around it. You don't want to be out here, because then it will flip your leather up. So when I come to the other edge of the riser, how wide does this need to be? I want this to just hang outside the grip slightly. Sorry about that. So I'm going to trim it until we've got the right. And of course you can make a mark on it as well if you want to. That's probably about right there. So now we've got our width that we're going to make our cut, and we've got our mark here, so I simply put that on the edge of the mark, and I'll use that for my straight edge to simply make an incision. Can you see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
In our leather. Now we've still got our backing paper on there. I'm going to insert this into our slot here. So that's going to come through the slot, like so. And it's going to lay just like that. So that leather is going to stick to the riser, and this is going to sit just outside. So before we take our backing paper off of there, we're going to get this thing set for depth and height. And that's going to sit just like that. So when we take this paper off, the sear will be held on by the adhesive, and also the adhesive is holding it to the bow. So the sear is not going to move after this. Okay? And you'll see how, if you can see the orientation of it, it's slightly out from the riser. It's not bent along the riser. It doesn't follow the curvature, it bends straight out. Got that? Okay. So now that we've got that, we're simply going to remove our backing paper off of here. Get our height right. And simply just stick that to the bow. Sear is held in by adhesive of the backing leather, and the adhesive holds that onto the bow, doesn't make any marks in the bow or anything like that. And then Tim's simply going to hook that with his ring finger and pop off it. Now this stuff's fairly thick. What you're going to want to do is, you don't really know what you're going to want for pressure wise, as far as how stiff do you want this. Some people are going to want it more flexible, some people are going to want it stiffer, so you just have to find the right material. You have to find the right material that is going to be your right pressure. So when you're pressing through that thing, if it is too flimsy, that sear will bend around the bow, and you'll feel travel, because as soon as it bends around the bow and your nail's coming off of it, you're going to feel this travel before it pops off. If you've got it fairly stiff and there's very little flex, it's going to pop off cleaner, but it may also create too much tension in your hand to get it to pop off. So finding that happy medium is in the thickness of this material and also the exposure of the material. The farther out you go, the easier it's going to be to flip through that sear. The closer in, the more it's going to bend against the bow, and the harder it is to get through your sear. I like mine to be able to put some meat in it, but not too hard where I'm creating tension in my hand. And remember, when you're shooting a sear system, the lighter the hand, the easier it is to get through the system. So be careful with your grip tension. If you're getting too tense in your hand, you're going to have a hard time getting through the sear. So keep it light and just press right through that thing. Concentration is on the movement that gets you through that. So another grip sear that I use, I just like to drill holes in bows. So you can drill and tap your bow. Once you find exactly where that needs to be, you put a mark on your riser and you simply drill and tap it. It's a 7/64 drill bit, 6/32 screw. I use a little stainless steel washer on both sides of this Mylar washer, and that holds the Mylar washer just slightly the washer width off of the riser, and that has everything to do with the flexibility of this. So this one's fairly stiff, and again, like I said, when you watch the other video, it's, this I like it fairly stiff, so it breaks off clean. There's no flex in that thing. That's just kind of a personal preference. So if you want to drill holes in your bow, get after it. If If you want to learn more about mechanoreceptive triggers, be it tab sears, grip sears, clickers, feather to nose, visit shotiq.com. Take my online course in control process shooting.